So my name is Jonas Velvok. Welcome. We are going to change perspective, so to speak. While we talked about training science before, I would like to shed some light on the EMS market to see what has happened and there. So before I begin, I would like to thank Jens Futter for giving me a few minutes for presenting the most recent results. And one piece of information, with Jens, I came up with a super podcast. We talked about EMS. We discussed the market development from his point of view, what providers should focus on. So for those of you who are out there as providers in the EMS sector, it's a well invested 40-minute time to obtain current information. Everybody can learn. A few words on myself. I am a fitness freak, and with Fitogram I was a head of content. I am taking care of compiling contents and developing contents in association with the fitness market, number one. So what are we looking at? We look at developments in the fitness market, latest trends, and what developments should provider be aware of. We do content because right from the start we said that we think it's exciting to show to providers what's happening out there in the market, and by means of our studies we try to compile practice relevant content every fitness provider can benefit from. We conducted the recent EMS study 2017. We published, 2017 because we had one in 2016 too. Some of you might be familiar with the 2016 survey. A few words on the 2016 survey. We looked at what was happening out there in the market. There were no figures before. Nobody really knew how many EMS providers were out there, who's offering it. Is it micro studios, personal trainers, or fitness studios? What about the distribution amongst them? And what about increase in demand? So what about the demand side? Is it going to be more stagnating figures or decreasing figures? And for the first time, we shed some light on the AMS market in Germany as a whole. In the 2017 surveys, we continued our studies. We updated our figures, looked at developments which might differ from the last survey, which we didn't cover 100%, and we released it in January. Should you be interested, you can download it at studien.filogram.de, or you come to our stand and pick one up. The study was in high demand and was a clear sign that there was a need for information out there in the market, and that quite obviously many people were looking for figures. Who engages in EMS training, how many people offer it, and where as an EMS studio, where can I pick up people and recruit them to become members of my studio? Then a little byproduct, so to speak, we also communicated EMS training as such. There were various media coverages, Deutsche Welle, specialist magazines, Men's Health, etc. And we tried to boost the EMS market by means of our survey as such. We did a good job, I think. A current status quo, we've got about 200 people doing EMS in Germany. This is a conservative estimate, and around 1,700 EMS providers, amongst them many EMS studios. When you add up the chains, all of you know them, they're partly represented here. You are in a high three-digit area. So EMS training is well underway, and this applies for the special interest providers, functional training boxes, etc. This market is growing to a major extent in Germany. You've got two market drivers, the low-budget providers, and on the other hand side, the micro studies and the special interest providers. So the EMS studios, they benefited a lot from the trend. So now the search volume, this is the number of people who are looking for EMS training, a clear trend, and it's an upward trend indeed. And when we go back, if we went back to 2010, as we did in the first study, you could see that it's a major major increase. So EMS training in recent years has gone up quite a bit in terms of the demand in particular, and due to the fact regarding the offerings made, we are in a 4-digit area regarding EMS providers. So a keyword, cloud, it stands for what people are looking for on the internet, and you leave out the navigational keywords like EMS training Cologne or EMS training Bonn. Well, these are navigational keywords pointing to the fact that somebody's looking for a real offer. So for you as a provider, those are the super interesting keywords. And if you take them into consideration for your own city, I've got an EMS studio in Cologne, and then I'm asking myself how many people are looking for a provider. I get a good feeling for what's happening out there in the local market. And I, as a local provider, am first of all interested in this field. What does my local market look like? What are people searching? And how can I pick up people? How can I reach them? And then I can adjust my offer accordingly. The other keywords are highly information-driven, so to speak. People want to know what is EMS training in the first place. So even though EMS training, the word has spread also based on FIBO, which offers a huge forum for this particular method of training, nonetheless, people still want to know what are the basics and what has EMS training in store for me. And there are uncertainties when they are searching for this key. Well, is EMS training dangerous? All of this is visible and reflected by the key words. Now the growth of the chains, there you see that chains make a major difference regarding growth. These chains are experiencing a relatively strong increase. It depends on the franchise, the licensing system, or the chain as such. That's what's decisive for the growth. Should you be interested in this field, you should pick up the study at our booth and take a closer look at growth rates developments. Of course, EMS training represents a niche offer. Only 2% of people use it. 10 million of fitness people involved in fitness. 2%, 200,000 of them engage in EMS. In the big cities, EMS training in general is much stronger represented than in the rural areas. And this is a basic principle that may be applied to the map of Germany. There are regions where there are focal points of EMS training, and some other regions where it's only represented to a minor degree. Ruhr area, Cologne, Berlin, Munich. There, we have got EMS strongholds, while in the rural areas in the northeastern part, their EMS studios are rare birds, and the methods too. And we've got a nice map we have in the first EMS study with all the locations and sites. So we counted, and there you get a good feel for where EMS is strong and where not. Then, in addition to that, we also took a closer look at the media and the contributions they make. One of us has seen one or the other camera teams here. So, quite obviously, the method has gained in importance, is of interest. Media are interested in this method of training and reporting. Coverage since 2010, provokingly speaking, has become more meaningful and less emotional. Training is well acknowledged and recognized and is taken as something serious and not as something outlandish. So our study also includes expert interviews conducted with Ralf Scholz and a few providers, Dr. Kleiner from the Sports University of Cologne. Highly interesting for those who work in this field. This survey is available as print in Hall 8, stand D54. Then this is not our core product, by the way. We've got a fitness platform also for EMS providers, and this is why we've got quite some experience in this field. We have got the biggest marketplace for professional fitness providers, and we are sort of type advisors for fitness. And on the other hand side, we've got an administrative software for micro studies, are highly active out there in the market. And apart from that, we try to produce contents that might be interesting to people out there working in this field, trying to set up their EMS studio or work as a personal trainer and be successful. We would like to support them in their endeavors to provide transparencies and give them a few key figures while doing so. And that was all on my part. A very brief, look at the study and insight. And whoever would like to know more, you are cordially invited to come to our stand. And I would be, happy to see you, answer your questions. And, if you get hold of me somewhere in the hall, I'm always open for questions. I hope that you enjoy the FIBO, the rest of the FIBO. And thanks for listening. Thank you.